Oh yeah, Mighty Boosh.
Oh, it's telling me that.
Yeah, we are now. Just double check. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I should say
we're all
gotcha.
live. So happy Wednesday, guys. I hope you're all good. We've got Andy Olley joining us today. He's just finished in the 12-week program with us. By all accounts, I know biased, but we've got some amazing results. Looking and
Mm.
feeling awesome. So Andy's kindly taking 20, 30 minutes out of his day to jump on, share his insights as to how it was going through the program, what he's achieved, big takeaways, any sort of key insights that you guys can learn from, and generally just a bit of a chat and celebrate his success. So, Andy, over to you. Would you mind introducing yourself? Who are you, and what you do? What are the scores?
Good question. Oh yeah, I'm Andy Olley. I run a PR agency. Been doing it for quite a while. Hence, I've got a few grey hairs. Yeah, it's been a good. The time's flown by with Luke. Really, I mean, I didn't come to this process from a situation of particularly deep and dark, desperate times. I think this sort of being cooped up in a ground floor flat, like lots of people have been, and probably eating, drinking a bit too much and watching telly a bit too much, to just sort of jig my brain a bit as to whether there could be a bit of a reboot of sorts. As I say, it was things were just sort of all right. I mean, to be honest, I was doing a lot of gym when the gyms were open, but I just found that I didn't feel as fit as I could be. And I was thinking, well, hang on, I don't think I'm eating that badly. I'm doing lots of exercise. Why am I not as fit as I could be, or at least a bit fitter?
Yeah.
So that's where it started, really.
Yeah. And so, what was like? I know we talked about it a bit, but what was, if there was anything specific, what was the catalyst for you thinking, right, I want to do something about this? What was the made you want to sort of say, right, I need to make a change?
Yeah, I think it wasn't purely a physical thing. I think everyone starts off, with a process like that, thinking, well, I could look a bit better, physically, I could, shift a bit of timber, have a bit more energy. But really, it became like a kind of like a two-part thing. It became an analysis of everything else that was going on, from building a business, from being very lucky to be in a relationship with an amazing lady, but thinking, right, we're 8 years in now. How do we sort of keep it going, make it better? And then just thinking about, friends and family and keeping in contact, family getting older, Nan's not well, and what mum and dad are up to, all those sorts of, you just do a sort of analysis of all the things that either make you happy, you want to keep that going, or the things that just kneel in the back of your mind, thinking, well, what can I do to address these and make sure I can help people as much as I can.
Yeah. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm going to put words in your mouth. But is it fair to say when we spoke, at least initially, and this is what I sort of said or felt, it was like you just kind of lost your mojo a little bit. Like you said, not in a particularly dark place, but it was just a bit like everything's all right, And it was more about the feeling I got from you when we spoke was like everything's okay, but I want it to be better, and it could be better. And it's that whole bigger picture piece we talked about. Just then, it's like, well, what's going on? And like, I know I want to be better. Things can be better. So why aren't they? And that's sort of was the driver. Have I got that right? Is that fair or?
Yeah, I think that's fair, because it's just sort of, you find yourself existing a bit, and you just think, well, particularly as I say, with what's gone on, there's this, view that you want to seize the moment a bit more, live a bit more. I think it certainly became a case of what more could I do? And you think of, and it was what's been so good about this is it's been marginal gains. It hasn't been extreme, oh my God, don't eat anything, don't even drink anything. Do you know what I mean? We've gone through things in a way that's been palatable each week.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been anything that's been too mad, but it's just really worked. And as I say, it's just given me a bit of a shot of the arm in terms of how I approach things daily. And it's anything, you're touching on stuff like looking at your phone list, making lists a bit more, thinking ahead a bit more, as opposed to just that day to day. Well, I'm doing all right, things aren't bad, but it's just it's the marginal gains thing. You think of that guy Dave Brailsford with the cycling team.
Yeah.
Before obviously it all went wrong with the drugs accusations. But that process was, they're all elite athletes, not that I am, of course, but it was just how can you just add a little bit more on without going crazy, and then you start to really see the results from it. So it's
Yeah.
great.
No, nice. And so on that, then we can dig into that a little bit from a results perspective. So what we were like, I think it was over 10 or 11 kilos lost, so like nearly over 1.5 stone, load of measurements off your belly, waist, 4 inches off your waist, which I guess is the physical attributes. What else do you think, like from a results perspective, are you really proud of that you've achieved?
I think it's just probably be a bit more honest with myself about things I need to address to just make things a bit better and to be a bit happier. Really, it's all the sort of stuff that you just hope will work itself out. But you just think it's in the background. Oh, the work's all right. I've got somewhere to live. I can't really complain. Touch wood. I didn't get ill. No one I knew got ill. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't actually just actively think, well, what could I do to improve things more? So it just became that, as I say, analysis with the fitness stuff. We got a clear plan together, didn't we, about just changing slightly about what I was eating. I didn't feel it was an extreme, you can only have a tiny amount of food, that's it.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, here's 3 ounces of lettuce. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't anything scary like that. It was just, well, what do you normally eat and drink? And you think, oh, bloody hell, okay, that could be a bit better. Sometimes you think you're eating and drinking quite healthily, and sometimes you're just eating the wrong stuff at the wrong time of day, and it's just a little bit of as I say, just a tweak on those. It's really good.
Yeah, I think what you said there, for me at least, is really important because often I think what people think they need is these huge car crashing changes to everything. It's like, right, I've been feeling a bit rubbish or not 100% best. So I tell you what, I'm going to like cut out all alcohol. I'm going to, only eat broccoli and chicken 6 times a day. I'm going to train 15 hours and, all that. And then that ends up falling over because it's unsustainable. But then it's like, well, you feel like, well, I can't achieve that. Whereas, and so we think that we need to make these huge sweeping changes to elicit a good response or good results and feel better. But what you said there is, in my experience and your experience now, it's the opposite is true. It's like, look at what we're doing. What can we increase marginally or change marginally? And then on mass over time, how does that feel? And then very quickly, over say a 3-month period, you've actually changed a fair bit, but without it feel like it's going to fall over. And I think that's the key. So it's like not overwhelming or overloading you, because those small things over time add up to a lot, which is the results that you've got, right?
I think that's fair. And I think, everyone's busy, everyone's knackered, everyone's grumpy, aren't they? But what we came up with was this: what does your day normally look like? What do you normally do? When do you exercise? What type of exercise? What do you eat and drink? And it was just, okay, well, what could we just change with that slightly? I mean, even, when we had, I'm not so on holiday because I couldn't go anywhere, but when we had a week away, it was just like, right, well, I won't have the gym and the usual sort of food and drink stuff. And we did a little plan in the app, which I could do. And it just kept things ticking along. It's just doing things every day that you put into your routine, but you don't think, oh my God, I've just had to, rewrite the book on how I spend the day or stress about having to do it. It's just like, oh, okay, I'll add those things in and you can see the results of it gradually. Yeah. And you think, oh, I actually feel a bit better and I can see it physically and I can feel it mentally because it's just starting to chip away at the list of things, as I say, that you should address, but sometimes it's just rather.
Yeah. And that's the thing there about like doing things that actually you're putting more things into your routine and you're building something into your day, these positive things that are for you. And conversely to like the methodology I just described there of loads of stuff and it all falls over. Well, actually, it's like you put these things in and I'm actually feeling better for doing them. So if I don't do them, I don't feel as good. So it's like, well, I want to do them. So then the holiday piece is like, yeah, you don't want to be a monk on holiday. You want to enjoy yourself. But how can I adapt what my normal is to fit into a holiday so I still feel good? And it's not about like, and so you've always got something you can do. And I think that's really important because then you always feel like you're achieving and you've got positive things going on.
Well, I think, and it was the sort of homework that you want to do. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Oh God, I haven't done it. I'll tell Luke I've done it and I haven't. And I should say that, there's various apps that you download for free that are very good. So you can keep an eye on if you're doing it or not. But it was always to say, it was just, you felt like you wanted to do it. It wasn't a chore to have to take the steps. It was just, oh, right, okay. Oh, I wasn't doing that. Great. I'll remember to do that. And I think the other good thing is if life got in the way, the odd occasion where I said, oh, I haven't been quite able to do that. and you just say, okay, well, why was that? Let's rejig it. Let's do it in a different way, or let's do it at a different time. So, you know, you don't have to fret too much if, you know, you don't want to look at your phone after 9 o'clock. But if you've got an American client, you've got to do some work. You do it, don't you? It's not as though you just
exactly. Yeah, it's not having, again, being completely concrete in your thinking. It's having that flexible sort of growth mindset as to, well, actually, this is what I do normally, but that can flex a bit. And if something doesn't work, or we try something, well, you couldn't just go, Andy, you idiot, fucking do that next time. Thanks very much, that's helpful. Or you go, it's quite simple. Why? Well, this, and this. Oh, well, what about this? And then straight away, you're able to find a solution or get to the detail of why something isn't working. And I think that's the nuance versus, here's stuff, I'm going to shout at you until you do it and follow it, which would get a result. But at this position now, I feel like you'd be in a very different place, you know, because you won't fundamentally change what you need to, you know.
Well, I think it depends what you like. As I say, I think having not done this before, you just think, oh God, as you say, is someone just going to be barking unrealistic orders? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, eat less, do some more press ups, you know, don't booze. You just think, well, probably do some of that.
Exactly, yeah.
Not every day.
Yeah.
But it became, but I think what I would say is that there's a good balance, isn't there, of how we set a plan and how we talk about it. So, you know, we didn't need to have a conversation every day. At the beginning of each week, we had an hour's chat. We picked apart what we wanted to do for that week. You know, you set perhaps a bit of homework, if you like, but it was very much like, right, you've got a week to go away and achieve it. But having that check-in was good because it does keep you, you know, it's training of sorts, isn't it? You always do better if someone just pokes you a bit and says, have you done it in the right way, of course.
And it's that interrogation that helps think about the bigger picture stuff as well and look at it, because there's a phrase I heard the other day which I really liked. I'm not going to claim it as mine because it's not. It's like, you can't see the picture if you're in the frame, and it's the whole thing of like having an external view of something and being able to help you see the bigger picture of like practical stuff, but then also the bigger picture stuff about life and where you want to go, and helping you work through and make decisions, or at least get to a place where you know why you want to make a decision, if that makes sense. So it's like giving you the tools to do that, and I think when you're in it, it's much harder to do it yourself, and having another set of eyes or another person, that's what coaching is, I guess, to help work through this stuff, because you don't always see it because you're in your own shoes, you know.
Well, I think that's good. And as I say, I think I'd reiterate as well that, you know, you do listen to what people want to achieve as in you personally, and, you know, and what people's situations are. And I think you could look at it and go, wow, it's just another middle-aged white bloke, isn't it, who looks quite fit in his pants in the garden. Do you know what I mean? He's going to tell me what to do. Whereas actually it was, well, all right, mate, you know, you're a bloke, but try and open up a little bit more about what's going on in your life beyond how fat or thin you are. And I think gradually as you coaxed the scenarios out of, you know, what was going on in my life, and we gradually went, okay, well, which bit do we address? What's important? What do we prioritize? And then gradually, as I say, over that, you know, 3-month period, it seemed to go very quickly. You know, the results, and I think we'll probably come on to it, but you've certainly you've given me a sort of a toolkit of sorts that I've got now to go away and use, but also come back to if I need a bit of a refresh.
Yeah, and that's for me, that's the aim of great coaching, or I believe going through any kind of transformation process or self-development process. Like, yeah, physical results, yes, great mental results, but then being able to sustain that long term and be able to understand what you've changed and why and how you operate. And that's what self-development is about. And there's always levels, there's always more you can do, but fundamentally getting to a period of time that we've worked together where you're like, yeah, I've changed some stuff, I'm clear on where I want to be physically, mentally and in life, and I also understand how I can approach that to make that happen. That's the really, really important part. So you don't need the coach forever. Now, if there's more stuff and more growth, that's the different conversation, but like getting you to the point where you're there, that's important. So I believe, anyway, I've just told you what I think. So with that, through the process that we've gone through, what would you say what was the most surprising thing you did? Or a couple of things. What are your key takeaways from the process that you've taken from doing it? And then layered on top of that is, what would you say, if anything, was the most surprising thing that you did? Or the thing that you were most surprised about?
Yeah. I mean, I think the key takeaways, as I say, it was a practical plan that you could actually incorporate into your life. And it's something that, touch wood so far, doesn't feel like it was a yo-yo thing. You see people do these coaching and plans, and they lose a lot of weight or do something, and then suddenly they just slip back into their old habits. So I think hopefully what's been instilled, people say, oh, it's all obvious, isn't it? But it isn't really, because it's only there if you choose to take the time to look at particular aspects, analyze it in a way, and discuss it. And as I say, personally, it was something that the things that I was just not addressing. And you think, well, hang on, if I wasn't, maybe that's why I'm not so happy about, where we are with various things. So
exactly.
I think the most surprising bit was that I thought, oh, this is just going to be, at the end of it, it'll just be like a weight loss plan. You know what I mean? And actually, the surprising thing was the fitness thing was almost in the background in a way. But the mindset to apply to just tweaking various things about exercise and diet was really easy to apply to, professional and personal matters without going into too much detail. And that's what I think people should take away from it, is that, obviously someone might come to you and they really want to lose a lot of weight, or they don't. But I think the two are really intertwined, that the steps you put in place on the fitness side physically just sort of opens your mind up to doing the other things, and you get the whole package. It's really good.
And so I'm glad you said that, because that's what I believe and I'm passionate about it. And there's a reason, but I think it happens so often that guys I'll speak to them like yourself, and it's like initially I want to lose a bit of weight, I'm not feeling comfortable about my body, probably not feeling great about other things, but maybe not as aware about that. And then as we go through the process, that sort of onion, the layers come back a bit, and you're like, oh, hold up a second. And often what I hear a lot, and this is what I think the power of coaching is about, is that it's that, well, actually, I thought I wanted to lose weight, and yeah, of course I did, and I have, and I feel good. But actually, there's so much more going on, and the approaches that you use to help facilitate that, it's like it almost unlocks another level in where you're at, and you're like, oh, okay, like I get it now. Because sometimes it's hard to sort of almost articulate what do you mean by changing mindset, but you kind of have to feel it to sort of let it happen. But I think it's really important, because physical and mental well-being, I believe, are inextricably linked, and you don't have one without the other, and you sort of can't do one without the other. And so if we just looked at what your fitness side of things, well, then without addressing the other things that are going on in life and your head and giving you tools to manage that, well, that's never going to be in line with the other things. It's always going to be out of sync, and you sort of do the two together, and they both sort of rise at the same time. Does that resonate with?
Yeah, that's exactly the experience I've had. I think I just reiterate that you're mindful of where people are at in their lives with their jobs and their families and their time and where they live and what they want to achieve, and you fit it around it. So, as I say, if I was going to recommend it to someone, I'd say it's you're open to having a conversation to begin with, so you're not like locked in on this set plan.
Yeah.
Just have a chat and just say, well, okay, well, what do you think you could be better at? And think, oh, right, okay, and then there's the steps that you take. And as I say, I think 3 months is a good, doesn't feel too long, doesn't feel too short as a way of doing it. And as I say, the level of engagement is realistic about, but well, for us anyway, of an hour's call a week, and then some certain things to do. And I liked all the tracking part of it. You had it wasn't loads of stuff. It was just, a couple of apps you could, help. You could just check in with and say, oh, right, okay, yeah, I'm doing what I was supposed to be doing. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, like I said, by all accounts, Andy, you have smashed it, because, like, physically lost a shitload of weight. Like, for the photos speak for themselves, looking great. But again, I think
apart from the farmer's tan.
Yeah, the farmer's line. Yeah. I saw Ava actually posted on the thing saying he needs to sort that out. But that's great. But again, like I say, more so, and without going into the detail of what we worked on and stuff, but like where your head's at and the choices that you made, and decisions you're making, and where you're at with the bigger picture stuff, I think it's been really, really powerful. And I think for me as a coach, that's the sort of stuff I get a real buzz out of. Of course, it's great helping people change physically, but knowing that you're in a more mentally resilient place and you're feeling more forthright, and it's like, yeah, I'm bringing the best version of myself to charge forward in life. I think that's a really I think is a powerful place to be in, and that's what you did. And you know, we worked on that together to get you there. So I think you should be massively proud of everything you've achieved. And it was a
Well,
great experience from my end as well. You know.
you know, and I thank you for that. And I'd also say I hasten to add that I'm moving house, hence why there's loads of bottles of booze over my shoulder.
Yeah.
That wasn't lunch.
Yeah.
But I should also say, yeah, it's great lunch. Yeah, that's a 21-year-old whiskey over there. No, I would say that you can, you know, I didn't feel that it was so extreme that if I wanted the odd drink or a burger or something, it could. It wasn't just, I wasn't a monk for 3 months.
Yeah.
But here we are. I mean, when did I finish it? 3 weeks ago, maybe, something like that. I'm still doing it, and it's all fine. It doesn't, you know, I haven't snapped back into particularly bad habits. It's just, oh, right, okay. I think what I'm equipped with now, I can carry on with and say, oh, the door is still open, isn't it?
If there's more that you want, and that's the layers of self-development and what next. It's like you're in a great place, but it's like, well, okay, what's next? And sometimes that's unknown unknowns, and that's a whole other conversation. Okay, well, mate, thank you very much for your time. As I said, it's been a pleasure working with you. If someone was sitting on the fence, they were thinking, oh, I'm intrigued, but I'm not sure about working with me or going through the process, like what would you say to them?
I think it's just like anything, isn't it? If you're not sure, just sort of just have a quick call with you. You know, there's no obligation, as they say in the adverts. Exactly. You know, it's if you've seen, you know, I saw some of the pictures over there, and it was in the back of my mind over a few months. Obviously, we were mates from before anyway, so slightly different. But you've only got to have a chat and say, well, what do you think we could do? And you're, you know, around to do that. So I'd just have a quick chat, a quick video call, and just, you know, thresh it out a bit. And then we discussed a few areas. Actually, we moved quite quickly, didn't we? But I think at the same time, you could say, all right, okay, let me have a ponder about it. Because my sister might sign up. She's busy doing stuff. She hasn't made her mind up yet. But it's just, that's the easiest way. Just, you know, don't just go by the pictures of someone else. Just have a chat and outline what you want to try and achieve, really. And that's male or female, I would say as well.
Totally. Awesome. Well, thank you, Andy. On that, as a big endorsement, I'll take that. Thank you. So yeah, thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it. Hopefully for anyone who's watching, there's been some good insights. If anyone who's watching is interested in having a chat about how I can help with the program that we run, drop a note in the comments or give me a nudge in Messenger. Other than that, have a fabulous week. Andy, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Take care.